Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Devin Zariah, also known as Devin Savage Recovery on TikTok. If you guys would do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about me being 15 years old and getting married and emancipated, and why in the hell I would do something like that. Like, what was going on in my head? Why would somebody at 15 years old want to get married and emancipated? Let's just jump right into it. So basically, let's just take it all the way back. When I was growing up, I grew up in a really, really shitty environment. I grew up with my dad in and out of prison. My dad was a drug addict. My mom was a single mom. She was working 2 jobs. And at the time, between 12 and 15, I was in and out of juvenile hall. I was a complete juvenile delinquent. I was running away all the time. I hated being home. I spent most of my juvenile years in juvenile hall. At the time, I was actually looking at 10 years CYA, that's California Youth Authorities. That is prison for the youth in California. And when I met my ex-wife, my kid's mom, I was 15 years old, okay? I met her at my grandma's house. I just had showed up over to visit my grandmother, and there was this girl sitting on the couch in the living room. And I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And she was hella cute, and my grandma had a pool down the street. I'm like, hey, you wanna go to the pool? And she was like, yeah, I'm down. So we ended up kicking into the pool. We ended up freaking kicking it all summer. We were going to the fair, the state fair, totally fell in love. You know what I mean? And instead, I don't want to be cliche, but time stopped, for the first time in my life, I fell in love, and I stopped being a messed up kid. I stopped fucking up. I wasn't out trying to commit crimes and doing stupid shit over and over again, I actually was looking forward to waking up every single day. Now, fast forward 8 months, I ended up getting married, I ended up getting emancipated, and ended up having a newborn baby. Now, why did I get married? Why did I get emancipated? Okay, well, looking at my situation, I was on probation, right? I was in and out of juvenile hall. Getting emancipated meant that I wouldn't have to freaking have a curfew like I did at 6 p.m. every night. I could work a full-time job. You know what I mean? I could get my own apartment. I could get my own place. And I was in a big rush to grow up. That was what I wanted more than anything. So why did I want to get married, emancipated, all at the age of 15? So given the circumstances, look at the whole situation. I was on probation, formal probation. All right, I had a curfew of 6 p.m. I wasn't allowed to freaking go to work. I was always supposed to pretty much just go to school, which was court school too, by the way. I was not allowed in regular high school. I was in court school. That is a place that you go when you can't even go to continuation school. I wasn't allowed in regular continuation. I wasn't allowed in the alternative continuation. I was in court school. My court school consisted of buzzing in, and a sheriff would come open up the door, pat me down, and freaking come bring me into my freaking chair and my desk. And then the probation officer was also the teacher, okay? And then there was 2 probation officers on duty, which were both my probation officers, that had a hard-on for me. Anything that I would do, if I got 68% on a freaking test, on a Friday test, they would book me into juvenile hall for the weekend. So you had to at least pass with a freaking, 62%, because you had to at least pass with a C. I wanted to be emancipated so that I didn't have to have a curfew. I wanted to be emancipated so I could go to work. I wanted my own place. I was ready to fucking grow up and be an adult at a very young age. I just wanted to be on my own. I wanted to be independent. I wanted it so bad, you know what I mean? So when I had met who was soon to be my new wife, we weren't in the best of situations. Let's look at her situation. Okay, her dad was a methamphetamine addict. He was a drug addict. Her mother was an ex-bag whore, and her mother freaking abused the shit out of her. Like, I literally had to stop them from a fight one time, watching her mom drag her down the hallway by her hair, you know, her kicking and screaming and crying, "Mom, let go of me, Mom, let go of me." Like, there was some really brutal things that was going on. So when we were kicking it, like, all we could talk about was freaking getting our own place, and we can't wait to be 18. Well, we had found out that you could get married and get automatically emancipated, or you could join the military and get an automatic emancipation. We were wanting to get emancipated. So we were sleeping together, and all of a sudden she ended up getting pregnant. Well, boom. Our freaking, like, not only did we have like butterflies, like, wow, we're making our own family, we were excited. Believe it or not, we were excited that she was pregnant at freaking the age of 16 and me being 15. We just didn't know how to go about bringing this up to the family. So what we did was I convinced my aunt to try to go to court to get custody of my girlfriend at the time so that we could get married. And the way that I did that is I brought to her attention, brought my freaking girlfriend over and let her explain to my aunt about the abuse that she was going through, that her family made her freaking take pee test every Friday or every Sunday after the weekend was over in front of her dad, in front of everybody. Like, it was messed up, man. So my aunt was all about it. My aunt was all about trying to go and take custody of her, and my mom was even on board and everything. At this time, they didn't know she was pregnant. We kind of hid it until we went to court. So we got my aunt to go to court for her. Her family didn't even show up in court, which broke her heart. She thought that they would at least fight. Yeah, she didn't want to live there anymore, but she was kind of low-key hoping that her family would at least put up a fight. But they didn't. It was pretty sad, man. After that happened, we brought it to my mother's attention and my aunt's attention, after that my aunt had just got custody of her, that we were pregnant with a baby. And it just so happened to be the day that we told her, but the day that we told them, it was April Fool's. We didn't plan this out. We weren't trying to plan this out, but it turned out to be April 1st, okay? And we went in and we had finally gained the courage up to go and tell them, all right, we're pregnant. And we went to do it, and they were like, April Fool's. I'm like, what? No. What? No, Mom. Like, no, like, here's the freaking, here are the receipts. And we hand her the freaking pee sticks, 2 of them, and they wouldn't believe us. They really thought that we got the pee sticks from someone else. Like, they were in denial, clearly in denial. Finally, after like an hour of talking and coaxing and shit, you know, they believed us. They were crying. My aunt was a mess. My mom was a mess. You gotta think though that my mom, okay, so my mom was 15 years old and a teen mom too. She got pregnant with my brother, my older brother, at the age of 15. When she had my freaking brother, she had to give custody. She didn't have to, but my grandma convinced her, scared her into signing over custody of my older brother over to her. And my older brother had some issues, so there was Social Security that my grandma wound up getting for my brother after that. And so when when my dad wanted to get married to my mom, my grandmother wouldn't allow it. And ultimately it was because my grandma didn't want to lose that check. My grandma made my dad jump through hoop after hoop after hoop, get a place, freaking hold a job. My dad did all that, and then she still would never allow my mother to stay with him or marry him. And so I used that kind of to my advantage. I said to my mom, Mom, I don't do to me what grandma did to you, and let us get married. We want to get married. We went through marriage counseling for 6 months, and then we got married. And when I got married, I was automatically emancipated. I got my own freaking apartment. We had our baby. We moved right in, like the day I got an apartment the day before my kid's mom got out of the hospital, and we were able to bring our newborn baby home to our own apartment at the age of 15, dude. Like, it was wild, and I had never been so happy. I had a full-time job at Target. I freaking had a newborn baby. I was still going to school full time. But the problem is it kind of backfired, and I'm going to make another video about this. My probation officers were not okay with me being emancipated. They did not like the fact that they didn't have control over me anymore. They didn't like me having my own apartment. They started violating me for everything. They would violate me for not calling and letting them know that I just worked 10 minutes of overtime before I got home. They arrested me on Christmas Eve, shackled me up in front of my whole family, kicked my whole door in front of my freaking, and not in front of, but kicked my door in while we were sleeping, me and my wife in bed with our newborn baby, you know, and she was only 16, I was 15, she was butt naked in bed, and they kicked the door open, and there's like 8 male cops looking at my wife, and of course I freaked out, you know, she's naked in bed, like, who are you guys, you know? But that's a whole nother story. Yes, freaking, it benefited me, changed my life to get married and emancipated, and I did it for a lot of reasons. But yes, it was all to grow. It was all to better my life. It was all because I just wanted to be independent and be a good man and a good dad, and that's what I did. All right, so if you guys like what you hear, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.